Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Tammy's Take on Things. So today's take, guys, I know a few of you are already wondering what's all this colourful display and what are some of these strange things. But I'll do a quick introduction. So I quite fancied Nigerian stew, which we normally have with rice or boiled yam or plantain or with anything actually. But I quite fancy like a traditional version that you can have with pounded yam or gari or any of those things. So I thought I'll cook it as opposed to ordering it from a restaurant or something. And I thought I'll take you guys on this journey as well. So I thought I'll cook a mix of vegetable and palm oil stew with some okra, and these are some of the ingredients I'll be using, and I thought I'd show you guys. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is I've got a bottle of vegetable oil, which I'm going to be using for my stew, and I've got some vine tomatoes here and a few bulbs of onions and some long peppers, which are already washed, guys. It just needs to go in the food processor, and then I'd steam it and then cook my stew. And there I've got some assorted meat there. So there's lots of different parts of meat in that bowl. In Nigeria we eat like assorted meat, so it's like different parts of the cow. Anyway, so that's nicely washed as well. It's just ready to go in the pot and seasoned and get to cook. And in that plate there I've got some chili flakes, some blended crayfish, and I've got my okra there, which we refer to as okra back home, and that's my palm oil, which says Nigerian palm oil on it. And I've got some fresh red shrimps here, frozen shrimps, which I've just washed as well and cut in half, because I'm going to be using it for my okra. And I've got some periwinkles here. This might look totally strange to a lot of people, but most of my people know exactly what this is. Anyways, I've got my washed periwinkle there, and I've got here a tub of, I should get that open. So I've got here what we refer to as Cameroon Pepper. What it means is just really strong dried Scotch Bonnet. This stuff is really hot, guys, so you want to be really careful when you use it. And I've got some salt. I've got some, actually put that lid back on, and that's not going according to plan. All right, lid back on. I've got a sachet of Onga Seasoning, which I like to use for my stew. It just gives me that taste of home. And then I've got some Maggi cubes here, and I've got some Locust Beans. So these are the major ingredients I'll be using to make this dish, and I thought it'd be a fun journey to take you guys on this ride, just to see how I make it and what it comes out as in the end. And I hope you guys are interested and stick with me. Guys, I'm just going to tip my meat into my pot. I'm going to be adding some water, and you can begin to put your seasoning in, because this is quite traditional type stew I'm trying to make. I'm not going to be adding any garlic or ginger or anything like that. I'm just going to literally put seasoning to taste. You guys already know my all-purpose seasoning, which is like my seasonal. It's my go-to for everything, and I use that to season my meat as well. So I put some of that in there, and I'm going to be adding some so this is my blended fresh tomatoes, some Scotch Bonnets, some bulbs of onions, and some long peppers. And I'm just going to put that on the fire and steam that. And this is what I'm going to be making my stew with. That's the paste which I'm going to be making my stew with. So while that's on there, I'm just going to quickly check my meat. So that's boiling nicely away, and so I'm going to be trying to see if I've got enough seasoning in it. chili is spot on, so it's very spicy, but I think I need a bit more seasonal in there, so I'm gonna do another dusting. It's a lot of meat stock, guys, so, and like everything else, you judge it. You put in as much seasoning as you think it requires, and I'm just gonna let that cook. So this is my blended tomato, which I've steamed. It's nearly dry, which is how I want it. I'm just going to quickly check on my meat. So I reckon that's cooked because I want it nice and tender, and I'm going to begin to cook the stew. So I've got my pot on the gas. I've included the mix of palm oil and vegetable oil, put some chopped onions and some locust bean, stir that in a little bit, and that is ready to include the tomato paste, the blended tomato paste into it. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing now, just adding the tomato paste. And after that, I am just going to move on to giving that a good mix around, and then I'll let that cook for a little bit. So I've just added some water to the pot, and I'm going to be making my okra in that pot. I'm just going to be adding my periwinkles first because I need them to come, well, to soften as they were dried for preservation. So I put that in there, add some salt and some seasoning, well, one seasoning cube just to give it taste, and wait for that to come to a boil. At this point, I'm going to add my sachet of Onga Seasoning to my stew, which is coming up really nicely, nice and dry, which is how I like it. And 2 stock cubes. I'm going to squeeze that in and give it a good mix. Then I'm going to go on and add my meat to my tomato paste mix. Give that a good mix together, just so that it's all coated in the sauce, and that way I can determine how thick it is and if I'm going to lighten it, which I will do in this case because it's quite thick. So I just need a few spoons of the meat stock, which is in that bowl. I'm just going to put about 3 spoons of the meat stock just to loosen the sauce a little bit. I don't want it runny, I like my sauce nice and thick. So yeah, give that a good mix together, and at this point I'm going to reduce the heat, so that's just simmers in low heat with the lid on. Back to my okra, I've just cooked in what's left of my locust bean, and I'm going to add my red shrimps in there as well. Give it a good mix and let that come to a boil. Add some Cameroon pepper, just because we want a little bit of kick in that, or because we just like a little bit of chili. Yeah, so put the lid on and let that come to a boil. Check on my stew. That seems to be doing really well, and as a matter of fact, it is nearly ready, if not ready. But I'm just gonna give that a good mix again and leave that on there for a little bit. So seeing as that's come to a boil, I add some crayfish to it, stir that, and then add some more chili flakes. You wouldn't believe it. Yeah, some more chili flakes. Not a lot, just a little bit. Like I said, I do like it to have a kick. And then I begin to add in my grated, in this case, knife chopped okra. I give you a little mix as I put it in the pot, just to break it down a little bit. Since as I didn't break it down, I didn't use a food processor, so it's not all broken down in slimy, which is meant to be. So I sort of just give that a little mix every time I add some to the pot. So I do that, and voila, scoop everything in a bowl into the pot. Give them give that a good mix and just let that simmer for a few minutes. Not very long, because what you don't really need to cook okra for long. So yeah, just let that sit on the pot for a little bit in low heat, and yeah, mix around a little bit just to make sure that everything gets cooked properly, and voila, all done. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. There's nothing as good as cooking something that you crave, so I actually can't wait to get in. But before I go, I'd like to say thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and if you haven't, please do click on the subscribe button, like, share, invite your friends to like it. Off I go now. I've made myself a plate and I can't wait to get into this deliciousness. And as usual, I love you for watching. See you in my next one.